places with unique traditions, but few know that in one of the coldest regions on the planet lies a nomadic country where women can have several lovers at once, and hospitality can be so extreme that they might lend you their bed, even with their wife in it. In this new video from Uncensored World, we're going to learn about Mongolia, one of the most extreme and yet fascinating countries on Earth. Mongolia, home to the largest and most powerful empire of all time, that of the legendary Genghis Khan, of whom you are probably a descendant yourself. A place where people never have a permanent home as they move with their herds, making it the most nomadic country in the world. A corner of the world with unique curiosities, such as the fact that most of its inhabitants have no land or property, that there are traffic lights for horses, and that it contains the largest and coldest capital city on Earth. A country where being overweight seems to be synonymous with beauty, to the point that many of its men walk around with their bellies exposed. That's probably why you won't be surprised to discover abduction weddings, or the reality of nomadic marriage, a tradition whereby women from a mysterious tribe are free to choose multiple lovers. Pay attention, and don't miss this video. You'll soon discover that your own blood could connect you to the history of the Mongol Empire. Let's get started. In a remote corner of Central Asia, isolated from the rest of the world between vast steppes and enormous mountains, lies Mongolia, the most nomadic and one of the strangest countries on the planet. This fascinating place is full of mysteries and curiosities that have captured the imagination of adventurers and travelers from all over the world, and now you are going to learn about it. A place with a rich history dating back millennia. In the beginning, Mongolian nomadic tribes inhabited the vast steppes and grasslands of the region, living off hunting, fishing, and animal husbandry. As the tribes united under common leadership, prominent figures such as Genghis Khan emerged, who succeeded in unifying the Mongolian tribes and founded the Mongol Empire in the 13th century. This empire expanded rapidly under the military and strategic leadership of Genghis Khan, considered by many to be one of the greatest warriors in history, conquering a vast territory stretching from Eastern Europe to East Asia. His army was considered the most feared of the time, and much of this was due to the belief that Genghis Khan ordered all his soldiers to wear tattoos with the symbol of a wolf, his spirit animal. This tattoo served both to instill fear in enemies and to reinforce internal discipline within his armies, a kind of mark that made them recognizable to anyone. It is believed that some Mongolian ethnic groups inherited this idea, incorporating it into their culture as an expression of power, protection, and connection to their ancestors. For this reason, today, this practice of symbolic tattoos remains a symbol of strength, protection, and connection to ancestral tradition. Mongolian shamans, known as sekerai, continue to play a central role in the spiritual life of some nomadic communities, applying symbolic tattoos that protect, strengthen, and connect people with their ancestors. These marks are made in special rituals and are considered to bring energy and protection. With the spread of Tibetan Buddhism, especially the Yellow sect, many contemporary shamans integrate Buddhist symbols into their tattoos without losing the shamanic essence. In this way, the designs combine elements of meditation, spiritual protection, and ancestral symbols, ensuring that each tattoo continues to convey a deep meaning and connect the wearer with the history and spirituality of their people. Today, the practice of shamanic tattoos has also been revived among young Mongolians seeking to reaffirm their cultural and spiritual identity. Many tattoo studios and workshops in the country recreate and adapt these ancestral symbols, fusing modern art with tradition, allowing these marks to remain a tangible reflection of history, protection, and spiritual connection in everyday life in Mongolia. Returning to the Mongol Empire, and to give you an idea of the gigantic territory it covered, we can say that at its peak, the Mongol Empire reached an approximate area of 33 million square kilometers, representing almost a quarter of the land surface. This makes it the largest empire of all time, far surpassing other great historical empires, such as the Roman Empire, which covered approximately 6 million square kilometers, or the Egyptian Empire, which at its peak reached around 1 million square kilometers. None of these empires came close to the extent of Mongol rule, which included such vast regions as China, Russia, Central Asia, the Caucasus, Persia, Mesopotamia, and parts of the Indian subcontinent. Because of all this, and because Genghis Khan had a large number of children who spread throughout the territory of his enormous empire, it is believed that approximately 0.5% of the current world population, or 1 in every 200 people, could be a direct descendant of Genghis Khan. You may be surprised to learn this and find it strange or not believe that you could be one of the descendants of the great Genghis Khan, perhaps because of your physical appearance or your nationality far removed from this enigmatic country. But science tells us that many of you watching this video are probably descendants of Genghis Khan. As you ponder this, take the opportunity to give us a like and subscribe to Uncensored World. As you can see, here you can discover the world like nowhere else. Thank you. This figure makes Genghis Khan one of the people with the most documented descendants in history. So now let's get to know better who could be one of your most famous ancestors. Genghis Khan, whose real name was Temujin, was born in the 12th century and rose to power as the supreme leader of the Mongol tribes after decades of internal conflicts and rivalries between clans. From a very young age, Temujin experienced the harshness of life in the cold Mongolian steppes, as he was orphaned by his father when he was just a child, and his family was abandoned by their clan, forcing him to survive in extreme conditions alone with his mother and siblings. This childhood forged his resilience, ingenuity, and leadership skills, and taught him to earn the loyalty of others through courage, justice, and strategic ability. It is said that even as a child he led small groups to protect his tribe from enemies or to steal supplies, demonstrating his military talent and ambition from an early age. But in addition to his military exploits, Temujin was a very visionary legislator. It was he who established the Yasa, a set of laws that unified standards of conduct, justice, and discipline throughout his empire. Surprisingly, and even more so for his time, he promoted religious tolerance, allowing any of his subjects to practice the religion of their choice, from Buddhism and Islam to shamanistic beliefs. He also implemented a meritocracy in his army and administration, rewarding ability and loyalty over nobility or lineage, something revolutionary for the time and key to keeping together such a vast and diverse empire that would soon dominate the world. His ability to unite scattered tribes under a single banner and his military genius led him to found the Mongol Empire in 1206, establishing what many considered to be the most powerful empire of all time. Legend has it that Temujin never lost an important battle in his entire life, even though on many occasions his armies were far outnumbered by those of his enemies. To achieve this, he employed strategies that were very advanced for the time, such as prior espionage to learn the enemy's movements and weaknesses, rapid and coordinated attacks by his light cavalry, and the use of smoke signals, flags, or drums to coordinate maneuvers from a distance, something comparable to a modern military communication system in the middle of the battlefield. In addition, Genghis Khan deceived the enemy with diversionary tactics, such as feigning retreats to lure rival troops into ambushes, or dividing his forces into small units that could move at great speed and strike simultaneously from different flanks. All this made his armies virtually invincible, which explains how he was able to conquer and maintain an empire spanning millions of square kilometers. To this day, Genghis Khan is still revered by Mongolians as a national hero. His legacy is found not only in the lands he conquered or his genetic descendants, but also in the culture, stories, and traditions of Mongolia, many of which keep the memory of their extraordinary leader alive. His unprecedented dominance was made possible by his skill and that of his successors, who unified the Mongol tribes and expanded their empire through a combination of innovative tactics. In addition, the Mongols built a communications and logistics network that facilitated the rapid delivery of messages, supplies, and reinforcements, connecting the entire empire. This system ensured that such a vast territory could be kept united and under control, something that no other empire in history had achieved so effectively, making it one of the most influential empires in history. Much of the Mongol Empire's success is due to the nomadic nature of its inhabitants and the help of what is probably the animal most loved by the Mongols, the horse. From an early age, Mongolian children learned to ride and care for horses, which are essential not only for the mobility of nomadic families, but also for hunting, herding, and, of course, warfare. Each person usually has several horses at their disposal, and these animals are an integral part of everyday life and Mongolian cultural identity. Unlike many Western cultures, where children usually travel by bicycle at most, in Mongolia, many children travel and even go to school on horseback from a very young age. The need for horses in the daily life of Mongolians is absolute. They are used to travel long distances across the steppes, follow the migration of herds, and transport heavy loads. It is said that an average nomadic family may change horses several times a day to keep them rested, which ensures efficiency and speed in their travels. Such is the importance of the horse that in the capital, Ulaanbaatar, you can see pedestrian traffic lights with the figure of a rider on horseback, designed to signal the pedestrian crossing and remind us of the historical and cultural relevance of the horse in Mongolian life. This urban representation not only alerts pedestrians to traffic, but also reflects the deep connection between Mongolians and their horses, a relationship that persists even in modern urban environments. Horses also play a central role in traditional sports and festivals, such as the Naadam horse races, where young riders compete in endurance tests that can cover more than 100 kilometers. These competitions not only celebrate equestrian skill, but also reinforce cultural values such as courage, discipline, and endurance, which are highly valued among Mongolian nomads. These Mongolian qualities are complemented by a hospitality that sometimes reaches extreme and surprising levels. Among many nomadic ethnic groups, especially those who still live in yurts, structures that are very common in this region, and which you will learn more about later, visitors are welcomed with total generosity, as survival in the harsh steppes depends largely on cooperation and mutual care. Offering food, shelter, or a bed to a guest is not only an act of courtesy, but a deeply rooted social norm that ensures protection and trust between the community and those who come from outside. Some travelers recount shocking experiences, such as being invited to sleep in the same bed as the family, even sharing the bed with the host's wife as a sign of hospitality. This practice, although surprising to most of us, has a logical motive, which is to help conserve body heat during the extremely cold nights of the steppe, ensuring that everyone survives the low temperatures. In some nomadic ethnic groups, this tradition is informally known as extreme hospitality or yurt hospitality, and is part of a broader set of social norms where generosity towards visitors is sacred. It is believed that violating these norms would bring bad luck or dishonor, not only to the individual, but to the entire family, thus reinforcing the importance of protecting and caring for guests in a way that will surely surprise you. At this point, we would like to ask you, would you accept Mongolian hospitality, even if you had to share a bed with the wife or the entire family? Would you be able to be so hospitable to travelers and foreigners? And do you think you or someone you know could be a direct descendant of the great Genghis Khan? Pause the video and leave us your comment. It will be great fun to read it, and by doing so, you are helping Uncensored World a lot, so that we can continue working hard every week to bring you the best content, so thank you. This often extreme hospitality is complemented by other rituals and cultural elements. For example, guests are often served tea with fermented mare's milk or freshly baked bread. And they often try one of the rarest drinks on earth, sheep's eye juice, which you will soon learn more about, and which Mongolians mainly use to treat hangovers. Leaving aside Mongolia's extraordinary hospitality, let's discover its best spots, starting with the capital, Ulaanbaatar. Ulaanbaatar is not only the largest city in Mongolia, but also holds the title of being the largest capital in the world in terms of area. To put it in perspective, the entire territory of Costa Rica could fit within the area of the Mongolian capital. which gives an idea of how immense it is compared to other well-known countries. But in addition to its size, Ulaanbaatar is famous for being the coldest capital in the world, with temperatures in winter that can drop below 30 degrees below zero. Historical records show that winters have been so extreme that people's eyelashes freeze in the open air. Car engines have to be warmed up for several minutes before they can start, and pipes freeze, forcing the population to heat water in special containers and insulate pipes with improvised materials to prevent them from breaking. These extreme conditions have given rise to unique curiosities and adaptations. People dress in several layers of clothing, even at night, and nomadic inhabitants visiting the city bring survival techniques from the countryside to withstand the cold, such as portable charcoal heaters or techniques for preserving food and frozen water. Even urban animals, such as dogs and horses, have special shelters and thermal blankets to withstand the low temperatures. This extreme climate not only defines the daily life of the inhabitants, but also shapes the urban culture, from the architecture of the houses, with double windows and special heating systems, to the planning of mobility and transportation in the city, making Ulaanbaatar a unique place on the planet where daily life is constantly adapted to extreme conditions. Among the places to visit in the capital, Ulaanbaatar, you can tour the Ganden Monastery, an impressive religious complex that houses the largest Buddha statue in Mongolia. If you are a history lover, don't miss the National Museum of Mongolia, where you can learn about the rich history and culture of this country through fascinating exhibitions and artifacts. For adventure lovers, Ulaanbaatar also offers the possibility of camel, jeep, or horseback excursions through the desert, an unforgettable experience that will allow you to explore this wild and mysterious landscape. But that's not all, as you'll also have the opportunity to marvel at dinosaur fossils, a unique experience that transports visitors back to prehistoric times. These are some of the facts that make this country unique, as in addition to all this, the country is enormous and has one of the lowest population densities in the world, with about 2 people per square kilometer. This means that considering the whole country, which is larger than Peru, Mongolia has only 3.3 million inhabitants, while Peru has more than 33 million. This has a lot to do with the nomadic lifestyle that the Mongolians have maintained for hundreds of years. This way of life means that, for example, in winter, Ulaanbaatar is transformed into a magical place that is unique in the world. With its vast space and very little pollution, the enormous Mongolian capital is covered in snow, and its clear sky is full of bright stars. The streets are lit up with festive lights, and the cold air invites you to wrap up warm with scarves and gloves. During the winter, Ulaanbaatar becomes a paradise for winter sports enthusiasts. Here you can enjoy skiing, snowboarding, and sledding in the nearby mountains. Interestingly, Mongolia organizes its own local Winter Olympics in these areas every year, where both young people and adults compete in sledding, skiing, and other traditional events, showing how even in a nomadic country, winter sports are part of modern life and culture. But the fun and magic is not limited to winter sports. In Ulaanbaatar, you can also enjoy the local culture by visiting the winter markets, where you will find traditional handicrafts, yak wool clothing, and delicious local dishes to enjoy and warm you up. Due to all these often extreme realities, the diet of those who practice the nomadic lifestyle in Mongolia is very simple, but above all, nutritious, based on dairy products, farm animal meat, and garden produce. The Mongolian diet is designed to be high in calories, as the main objective is to accumulate body fat, and thus better withstand the low temperatures recorded in places such as Ulaanbaatar and the vast steppes of the country. Body fat acts as a natural internal coat for the body. Imagine that your body is like a house. Vital organs, such as the heart and lungs, are the most important rooms, and fat acts as the walls and insulation that keep the temperature stable. In extremely cold places, such as Mongolia in winter, where temperatures can drop below 30 degrees below zero, this layer of fat is crucial to prevent internal heat from escaping and organs from getting too cold, which would be dangerous for survival. In addition, our bodies have a natural tendency to store fat more easily than to burn it, and this is no coincidence, but a mechanism inherited from our ancestors. Thousands of years ago, when humans were hunter-gatherers, food was not always available. Sometimes there were days or weeks without successful hunting, or without fruits and roots, so the body needed to save energy to survive those periods of scarcity. Fat functioned as a kind of energy bank. The more you stored, the more likely you were to survive until food was available again. Burning fat requires considerable effort and time, while accumulating it is quick and efficient, because evolution prepared us to survive in environments where food was not constant and the climate could be extreme. This applies to Mongolians as well as to you and me or anyone else in the world. In places like Mongolia, where the cold is extreme and constant for much of the year, this need for extra fat becomes even more important. It's as if the body has an internal thermal blanket that works 24 hours a day, something that cannot be replaced by clothing or heating. That is why in Mongolian culture, people are not afraid of gaining weight, but quite the opposite. Having a prominent belly is considered a sign of health, beauty, strength, and survivability. It is not only biological but also cultural, as body fat is interpreted as a valuable resource, indicating that the person is well-fed and can withstand extreme cold for long periods of time. This can even be observed in everyday life. Many Mongolian men walk around in winter with their bellies exposed, patting them as a kind of symbol of strength and well-being. For Mongolian society, those with bellies have resources, are protected, and are capable of caring for their families, which transforms a biological necessity into a sign of status and beauty. For this reason, in Mongolia, there is not the same fear of gaining weight as in Western societies, but quite the opposite. Having a prominent belly is seen as an advantage. One of the foods that makes Mongolia unique is its delicious ice cream, which is best enjoyed in the summer months. One of the best-known legends about Mongolian ice cream tells that Mongolian warriors, during their long journeys across the frozen steppes, carried cream in sacks made from animal intestines. The constant movement of galloping and the low temperatures caused the cream to shake and freeze, creating a mixture similar to ice cream. Another legend tells of a group of Mongolian warriors returning from a successful battle in the desert. In the sweltering heat, one of the warriors had the brilliant idea of mixing fresh snow with mare's milk to refresh his squad. This mixture solidified into a delicious frozen substance, thus creating Mongolian ice cream. These stories probably have some truth to them, as this ice cream has become a symbol of creativity and innovation in Mongolian culture. In addition, it is known that in ancient times, Mongolians collected snow from frozen mountain lakes and mixed it with honey, spices, and flowers to make a type of sorbet. But surely there is a food in Mongolia that is much more extraordinary than ice cream. One of the most unusual drinks in the world, sheep's eye juice. This peculiar drink, known for its hangover-fighting properties, is made from tomato juice, vinegar, and the star ingredient, sheep's eyes. Although it may sound surprising to some, sheep's eye juice is prized in Mongolia for its unique flavor and alleged health benefits. The preparation of this drink is considered an important part of Mongolian culture, especially during traditional festivals and celebrations. Sheep eyes are added to tomato juice and vinegar to create a revitalizing and comforting drink, believed to help restore energy and alleviate the effects of a hangover after a lively celebration. Sheep eye juice is directly related to one of the aspects that makes Mongolia truly unique, its nomadic lifestyle. To understand what this lifestyle means, try to imagine waking up every morning in a tent, called a yurt here, in the shadow of a majestic mountain, surrounded by the wildest nature and the most breathtaking landscapes. This idyllic setting is the reality for many Mongolians who continue to live in a traditional way, following the migrations of their herds and adapting to seasonal changes. Upon waking up in the yurt, the day begins with the fresh scent of mountain air and the golden light of the sun filtering through the openings of the tent. The family usually gathers around a small wood-burning stove to prepare breakfast. In this nomadic society, breakfast is likely to include basic and nutritious foods, such as yak milk, which provides energy for the day's activities. After breakfast, family members usually organize themselves for the day's tasks. Some will go out to herd livestock on the vast plains, while others may take care of repairing the yurt or performing other household chores. Nomadic life in Mongolia is marked by mobility and connection with nature, where each day offers new adventures and challenges in this vast and beautiful landscape. This is the daily life of Mongolian nomads. This probably has a lot to do with Mongolia being recognized as the least fenced country in the world. Nomads need to move constantly, following the migration of their herds, fresh pastures, and water sources. So the absence of fences and gates allows animals to graze freely and families to relocate their yurts more easily, adapting to seasonal changes and preventing natural resources from being depleted. Furthermore, this openness reflects a philosophy of life deeply linked to freedom and survival. Nomads do not consider it necessary to enclose their property because the community functions with mutual respect and clear social norms, where each family's assets are recognized and protected by all. This absence of walls and fences also allows nature to take its course, facilitating hunting, fishing, and the mobility of all kinds of animals, from horses to camels and sheep, making Mongolia a country where life flows without physical barriers, in harmony with its extreme and challenging environment. In fact, in Mongolia, most inhabitants do not own land, but use it according to the needs of their herds and natural cycles. The community trusts that each person will respect the property of others and take care of shared resources, an unwritten rule that has allowed nomads to live for centuries in freedom and harmony with their environment like nowhere else. The nomads of Mongolia are a unique people who have managed to adapt to the harsh climatic conditions of their land and keep their ancestral traditions alive. Their way of life revolves around nomadic livestock farming, in which animals such as horses, sheep, goats, yaks, and camels are their main source of sustenance. These animals provide them with food, milk, wool, and transportation, becoming indispensable companions for their survival in this inhospitable land. Mobility is one of their fundamental characteristics, as nomadic ethnic groups are constantly on the move, with no fixed home, in search of fresh pastures and water for their animals, following a migratory pattern that varies according to the seasons. In spring and summer, when pastures are more abundant, nomadic families camp in the highlands of the mountains. In autumn and winter, when snow covers the landscape, they move to more protected and sheltered valleys. Thinking about this need for shelter, hundreds or thousands of years ago, the Mongols devised a style of house that only exists in this region of the planet. The traditional Mongolian tent, known as a ger or yurt, the quintessential Mongolian home. This circular, portable structure is made of wool felt, a material that insulates against the cold and is easy to assemble and disassemble, allowing families to move quickly and easily. Inside, the ger is cozy and functional, with simple but practical furniture such as beds, tables, and wood-burning stoves that provide warmth during the cold winter months. This nomadic culture has meant that traditions that are extraordinary and controversial for much of the rest of the world are still maintained in this country today, such as traveling marriages, which we will now learn about in more detail. In a population in constant movement, where men were responsible for tasks such as hunting, exploring new territories, or defending the tribe, it was common for many of them to get lost, injured, or even killed, leaving their wives without the sustenance and protection that depended on their presence. This reality of constant danger and frequent loss led certain communities to seek social structures that would guarantee the survival and stability of women and children, even in the absence of men. It is very likely that due to these circumstances, what is known as the Kingdom of Women arose among the Mosuo, a people of Mongolian origin who still occupy some remote regions between China and Mongolia today. The Mosuo are a nomadic community of approximately 40,000 members, organized into small villages of wooden houses, where traditions have managed to survive thanks to geographical isolation and self-sufficiency. One of the most striking practices is the so-called walking marriage. After a coming-of-age ceremony, Mosuo women are free to choose their lovers, have as many or as few as they wish, and do not live with them, but their children always remain in the maternal family. Interestingly, some men visit their lovers only at night and leave before dawn, a custom that has led to the Mosuo being known as the Society of Night Love. In addition, women can have several relationships at the same time without this being a source of conflict, and men accept these rules as part of the social structure, something that would be unthinkable in most Western cultures. In this society, maternal uncles and brothers assume the paternal role, caring for and educating the children, while women continue with their lives and relationships. External lovers completely respect the authority of the mother and the maternal family. They never intervene in household decisions or child rearing, which reinforces the independence and power of women within this community. This structure, which may seem controversial or even scandalous to most of us, has practical and deep roots. It protects women and their children from the uncertainty of a world where male mortality was high, and ensures the continuity of the family and community without depending on the randomness of men's survival. Therefore, walking marriage is not just a curious cultural tradition, but a strategy for social and biological survival, which has managed to remain intact for centuries in an extreme and dangerous environment. When thinking of extreme and dangerous environments, surely the most famous territory in Mongolia is the Gobi Desert in the south of the country. This desert is one of the largest and most arid in all of Asia, where temperatures can vary from over 50 degrees Celsius in summer to 35 degrees below zero in winter, making it an extremely hostile place for both people and animals. In certain areas of the Gobi, the winds are so strong that they can whip up sandstorms that last for days, forcing travelers to take shelter for hours to avoid being swept away by the sand. But this desert also hides oases, canyons, and unique rock formations, and is world-renowned as a fossil paradise. Millions of years ago, this land was a perfect habitat for dinosaurs and other prehistoric creatures, and its arid climate has preserved their remains in an exceptional way, making the Gobi one of the most important paleontological sites in the world, where intact fossils are still found buried under the sand today. One of the most famous discoveries was that of a theropod dinosaur, similar to a Tyrannosaurus rex, found in the Gobi Desert. This dinosaur is one of the most complete and best preserved found in the world, providing valuable information about the evolution of these creatures. In addition, in some excavations, paleontologists have found fossils with partially preserved soft tissue, something extremely rare globally, and which makes the Gobi a natural laboratory for studying prehistoric life. But it's not just dinosaurs that have been found. In 2018, the skull of a primitive mammal from 75 million years ago was discovered, also in the Gobi Desert. Another surprising find is fossilized dinosaur eggs, which allow us to study the embryonic development and reproductive habits of these creatures. In some cases, complete nests with several eggs arranged in an organized manner have been found, as if the dinosaurs had cared for their young, a discovery that fascinates paleontologists around the world. The Gobi Desert is also home to living species that have adapted to extreme conditions, such as the Bactrian camel, capable of going weeks without water, or small rodents that dig deep tunnels to protect themselves from heat and cold. In addition, in certain parts of the desert, sandstorms so dense that they reduce visibility to a few meters, and nighttime temperatures that freeze any exposed water have been documented, creating landscapes that are as challenging as they are impressive. As you can see, Mongolia is one of the most extreme countries on Earth, a reality that can be observed in almost every corner, from Ulaanbaatar, the coldest capital on the planet, to the Gobi Desert. That is why one of the most extreme and deadly climatic phenomena on the planet occurs here: the Dzud. The Dzud is not simply intense cold. It is a deadly combination of heavy snowfall, relentless blizzards, and frost that can last for weeks or even months, covering the pastures with solid ice and making it impossible for livestock to find food. For Mongolian nomads, each dzud is a challenge that can threaten the survival of an entire family and their herd, as thousands of animals die in a matter of days if extreme precautions are not taken. Interestingly, dzuds can also appear suddenly and unexpectedly, even after relatively mild winters, catching herders off guard. Some elders in rural regions tell stories of dzuds so severe that the accumulated snow could reach more than 2 meters, and horses and camels seem to disappear under a white blanket, forcing nomads to improvise shelters and feed their animals straw and bark to save them. Cold or no cold, if you visit Mongolia, another place you can't miss is the world's largest statue of Genghis Khan on horseback. This impressive sculpture is located in the Tsongjin Bulldog region, about 100 kilometers from the capital, Ulaanbaatar, known as the Statue of Genghis Khan or the Steel Statue of Genghis Khan. It depicts the legendary leader riding a horse, gazing towards the horizon, with a total height of approximately 40 meters above its pedestal, and 50 meters if the base is included. This statue holds the world record as the largest equestrian statue on the planet. The complex is not limited to the statue. It includes an interactive museum, exhibitions on the life and conquests of Genghis Khan, and a cultural center showcasing Mongolian traditions, weapons, and clothing. Visitors can even climb up to the horse's chest via an internal elevator, from where they can enjoy a breathtaking panoramic view of the surrounding landscape and the vast Mongolian steppes. This imposing statue is an architectural marvel, although tourists are advised not to visit it during the winter season due to the extreme weather conditions. Extreme conditions combined with a warrior past unique in the world have given rise to practices as unusual as they are controversial, such as the ancient tradition of bride kidnapping or bridal abduction. It all began centuries ago in different regions of the ancient Mongol Empire when nomadic communities faced extremely harsh environments and survival depended on cooperation between clans. It was in this context that what is now known as bride kidnapping emerged. Over time, this practice spread to various regions of the ancient Mongol Empire, becoming a recognized tradition among some nomadic communities. It is said that, on occasion, women seem to disappear from their villages or camps under strange circumstances, but these disappearances were related to the custom of men choosing their future wives according to these social norms. As the tradition spread, it became a structured ritual, with ceremonies and rules specific to each clan or region, reflecting the importance of family alliances and survival in an extreme environment, where each marriage could strengthen cohesion between tribes and ensure the continuity of the group. In this ritual, a man could take the woman he desired as his wife to his home and celebrate the marriage ceremony there. Although this may seem shocking to Western cultures, at the time it reflected rules of alliance and survival, strengthening ties between families or clans, and ensuring social cohesion in an environment where each alliance could be crucial for survival. This practice was linked to rural and isolated areas, where the mobility of tribes and the absence of centralized legal structures allowed local customs to dictate how marriages were established. Over time, many of these traditions were regulated and eventually banned by modern law in Mongolia, although their echoes are still remembered in historical accounts and cultural festivals. Some locals even mention it as part of family stories or cultural festivals, giving visitors a glimpse into the ancient code of honor and the way tribes arranged marriages and social alliances. Another centuries-old tradition unique to Mongolia is eagle hunting. In this practice, hunters train golden eagles to capture wild animals, such as foxes and rabbits, which are then used by the community. This custom is kept alive mainly in the Altai region, where families pass on the knowledge from generation to generation. Interestingly, some hunters can work with eagles weighing more than 6 kilograms and with wingspans of more than 2 meters, creating a magical bond between the bird and its master. Considered a symbol of skill, patience, and strength. The nomadic and warrior lifestyle of the Mongols is also reflected in their largest festival, held every July, Naadam. This event includes wrestling, archery, and horse racing competitions, known as the Three Skills of Men, which historically determined a warrior's ability to protect his tribe. Naadam is not only a demonstration of strength and skill, but also a colorful spectacle full of music, traditional costumes, and rituals that keep Mongolian culture alive. A striking curiosity is that some horse races can cover more than 100 kilometers, with young riders showing their endurance and bravery from a very early age, highlighting the deep connection Mongolians have with their horses. This celebration attracts people from all over the country and abroad, and is a unique window into discovering the identity, history, and wonders of Mongolia. Speaking of wonders, Mongolia offers much more than the Gobi Desert. One of the most impressive is Lake Kovsgol, known as the Blue Pearl of Mongolia. This lake, which covers more than 1,500 square kilometers, is located in the far north of the country, near the border with Russia, and contains approximately 5% of Mongolia's fresh water. Interestingly, in winter the lake freezes completely and becomes a natural ice rink where locals go horse-drawn sleigh riding and celebrate ice fishing rituals that have been maintained for centuries. Its mountainous surroundings and virgin forests make it a place of spectacular beauty and a refuge for species such as musk deer and Mongolian wolves. Another extraordinary place, probably the most representative of this country, is its vast steppes, which occupy much of its territory. These green plains are home to nomads and their herds of horses, yaks, and sheep. Here you can experience authentic Mongolian culture and enjoy the peace and tranquility offered by these wild landscapes. Something that few people know and even fewer imagine is that this country, despite its extreme cold, is also known as the Land of the Blue Sky, due to its more than 260 sunny days a year. With all this in mind and knowing that you have come this far, you will probably be interested in knowing how to get there and enjoy this magical country to the fullest. Also considered one of the cheapest places on the planet, Mongolia offers a unique experience at surprisingly affordable prices. To get to Mongolia from America or Europe, the most common way is to fly to Ulaanbaatar, the capital, with a stopover in cities such as Beijing, Moscow, or Seoul. Flights usually take between 14 and 16 hours depending on the route and the length of the stopover. Once in Ulaanbaatar, public transportation is quite limited, but you can use local taxis or private transportation services to get around the city. As for visas, many countries allow stays of up to 90 days without a visa. For longer stays, a visa is required, which can cost between $50 and $70, depending on the duration and type. The main language is Mongolian, although some English is also spoken in tourist areas, which makes traveling easier for any tourist. The official currency is the Mongolian tugrik, and the exchange rate varies, but generally $1 is equivalent to approximately 3,000 tugriks. In terms of accommodation, dinner for two at a mid-range restaurant can cost around $20, and a mid-range hotel costs an average of $30 per night. One of the most striking experiences for tourists is the opportunity to stay in a yurt, also known in Mongolia as a gur, a traditional circular tent made of wood and felt, which has been the home of nomads for centuries. Spending a night in one allows you to immerse yourself completely in the Mongolian way of life, sharing home-cooked meals, stories by the fire, and the serenity of the endless steppe landscape. During your stay, your hosts may offer you some of the country's most unusual drinks and foods, such as sute tsai, a salty tea with milk, or the legendary sheep's eye juice, a curious traditional drink that is said to help cure hangovers and keep you strong on the coldest days. And if the night turns out to be particularly cold, who knows? They may even invite you to share their bed inside the yurt as a sign of hospitality and human warmth. If they did, would you dare? We'd love to hear from you in the comments. At Uncensored World, we hope that this tour of Mongolia has been as exciting for you as it has been for us. With that in mind, and considering the effort that goes into making these videos, we would love for you to leave us a like and a comment. It's the best way you can help us continue to bring you the best content every week. If you enjoyed this video and haven't subscribed yet, don't wait any longer and do it now by activating the bell so you don't miss the fascinating videos we make every week. Videos like this one that you can enjoy now to discover one of the most fascinating corners of the planet. Don't miss out and discover the wonders this place has to offer.